Wow. I came back out. I got two more feeds. Yeah, I talked to Jennifer a lot. It's been really intense here lately. I really care about her, and I think you guys should too. I think she's a really special lady. I'm not just lying to. Okay, if I'm making this stuff up, it's pretty spectacular, immaculate. It's pretty cool. I like the playground in my mind, like I told you. I went and saw the last feed that's going to load today, and it's pretty intense. I wanted to load the ones from this morning, the two, three early ones from this morning, but maybe they're a little too personal. I don't know. Alan Jackson, I love you, dog. Okay, I do. I love you a lot, man. You're so cool. You're a good dog. And Snoop and a lot of the other people that roll up in there and stuff. I guess what happened is they loaded up, and we wrote. I trust you, baby. I trust you. I can't see what happened. I do. It's just a family thing. Certain connections have closer connections to you because they're just like family that you've known over millennia upon millennia is all. We're all related. It's just who you closely relate to, too. You know who your dog is. You know who you hung out with in school. You know who you could trust through the thick and the thin. You know what I'm saying? And if you know what I mean? I mean, they kept us separated. I mean, she was born in New York by the Hudson, and I was born by the Rio Grande. And or she out, in the area of the Hudson, and I was born out in the area of the Rio Grande. But we were separated for a long time. We're always separated, and many times I've felt her spirit pray to be reunited with the spirit of him, and looking for him and not finding him. It's happened a lot with him, King David, and with other women that were close to it. They like being around him, but they know that there's a more right him for them. It's not. It's You'll find your him. Ask Alicia Keys. ask Beyonce. And then it doesn't always. You don't always have to sit there and go, "This was the perfect thing." For me, it's like sometimes it's right, and then it's wrong, and then it's like, "What's going on?" And then you just know. I mean, but you don't ask. It's just people just knew, and they were following the two of the strongest trace signals in the whole world. And I explained that to you guys. They can trace the analog, digital, whatever Wi-Fi. It's like tracing signals to cell phones, and they can do it. They can do it relatively now. They can find out where these signals and these people are praying. They're actually playing to another human being, and he actually hears them, but he can't hear them all because it's maddening. Okay, so he hears most of the sincere prayers, which is usually the children. And these strong signals go back to, because most people pray to a human being in this world, and there's one human being that they all try to connect to, and that's my Uncle Jesus of Nazareth in Israel, ancient day Israel, is Judea. 2012 years ago, around that time. They pray to connect to him. His whole life is filled with it, even from the Ricky Bobby joke, little baby Jesus. And you feel these things, and you're kind of protected from who you are when you're young, because it just bams you, right? Now, you go through a spot called the God spell. My Uncle Muhammad went through it between the ages of 40 and 43. My Uncle Jesus went between the ages of 30 and 33, because the Roman Empire at that time was not as evil and wicked as you guys think. They had established things. It wasn't as bad as it is today. Where Muhammad was living, he was living out in Arabia, where it was very wild. The people were very mean and very evil. Had a no law, no established, no civility. Really, they all had harems, and they were doing a lot of the things that Goliath did. And the Romans weren't allowing that. They were they had a little bit more civility to them, even though they were occupiers. That's why a lot of people say it's okay to be occupied. It's not. You got to give everybody equal value like the Hebrews do. Share the corners with the fields with your poor, and you'll be given more true fellowship. And that's what Jesus was trying to establish. He thought, since these people have civility and have intelligence, there's a chance here with these Romans. These Romans aren't that bad. Yes, they are. No, they're not. We've had worse. They didn't come here and cut all our nuts off and rape all our... They respect our chastity laws. They let us have our religious practices, and then they're intrigued by them and they study them. These Romans aren't that bad. And that's why you have to see America today. We're kind of a cross between the two, between Rome and ancient day Arabia, So we have to mesh these two together. Understand? Because I went through my God spell we wanted it to be between the ages of 30 and 33, right before the Iraqi war, and it didn't happen. Or before it was after. It was after. It was before. It was before. Oh yeah, before before 9/11. It was I wanted it to be then, but it wasn't. It's contingent on the group. It's contingent on the people, not the Messiah. The Messiah is tied to the group, so the group has to decide, not him. So the group moves. So it went for me, instead of 30 to 33, it went between 40 and 43. I'm sure it'll be, with my nephew Isaac, between 30 and 33, and Patrick too, and a lot of these others. The other people go through it. It seems to go between these kind of cycles. I don't know how that works, but it does. I'm even told it can go between 20 and 23, depending on the beauty of the society. That's why we had our bar mitzvahs back when they were 13, between 10 and 13, and you go through your little things, and you have a life changing cycle then too. So it's really, really cool. I think it's amazing. I think it's amazing the way this thing, it works on planet rotations, lunar cycles. It's all tied because we're all relatively connected. So it's really cool. I don't know the extent of all the mathematical components to it, because I'm not the only man in the universe. There's Einstein, there's Oppenheim, you see what I'm saying? There's Daniel has Hananiah, Azariah, and Michael and others and stuff. We don't operate on our own. We have help. Jesus had disciples. And he had Mary. He had this beautiful Mary, and Martha and others, and he had a beautiful lady. But it's David did too, and they cut out a lot of that in the scripture and stuff too. The importance of the queen. The queen is removed so many times from the scriptures, and it really makes that chap's dad tired. That really makes David mad, and makes me mad too. And it makes all of them mad. It makes Jesus mad. I told you when I read the New Testament, the central figure, the important one, the one who goes and tells you that he's resurrected and everything, it's Mary. It's his wife. It's her. Most Mormons believe that Mary is his wife. Most Muslims believe Mary is his wife. And I don't believe I know. Okay? So, but the strongest trace signals that come back come to his nephew, Ralph. The strongest trace signals that trace to my uncle Muhammad go back to, like I said, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to my nephew, Isaac Paul Benegas, which is so cool. It proves there is a God, because only God would have the similitude of Muhammad be called Isaac Paul. It's just so beautiful. But I'm going to go in there. I'm going to load these up. I can't make it too long because I want to make sure all three of these load in. This is the one that I'm going to end the night with. And I love you guys very much. We'll see what happens back here tomorrow. Go home and do my regular little routine. It's just my life, and it's your life. And I hope our routine changes soon, because I really want to meet so many of you and touch your hands and see your faces. And there's someone in particular I'd really like to see. More than someone in particular. There's a whole family. You just have to forgive me, guys. There's just someone I've been longing to see for a long time. All right? And there's more to her than just her. And that excites the everything out of me. I love children. I love family. My dad learned it from my brother-in-law Jerry Aviar. You don't just date the girl, you date the whole family. And have you ever seen my Big Fat Greek Wedding? I love that movie. But I love you guys, man. I gotta go. All right, so I'm gonna go load this stuff up, and then I'm gonna go through the rest of my evening and just let you know how much I do adore you. All right, I do. I hope we lead ourselves to peace really, really soon. You guys are all saying dulang, dulang. I hope it's sooner or later. I hope it's not later, right? All right, I love you too. You're so fine. All right. I love blessings and peace, and I love you too. I really do.